Look, mommy, I'm flying. Aladdin ain't got nothing on me. Whoa. I just had a weird dream.
Good morning, princess. Go grab yourself a smoothie or something, we're about to have some fun.
Dude, really? Okay, wait here. I'll be right back.
What the?
Welcome.
Damn. What are we doing now?
Glad you asked, little bro. Next up, we're gonna talk about if-else statements. So why don't you pull up that stool right there and take a seat?
Why does my seat look like you took it from the visiting center of a prison, but yours reclines and is cushioned?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, let's get started. Can you get our laptop, please? Dude, it's more like this.
Damn, why is it always me?
No time to mope, Mr. Poopy Pants, it's learny time. Starting with if-else statements. Another way to think of if-else statements is as branches in a program. A branch is a sequence of statements that only executes when a specific condition is met. This concept allows your code to be more flexible, having it adapt and perform different actions based on user input. The overall structure remains the same across all languages. So let's start by exploring some basic syntax, using a few examples. The most basic statement would be just an if statement. If the statement matches, then the block of code runs. If it doesn't match, then nothing happens. If you don't want the program to simply stop when an if condition isn't met, you can add an else statement to handle alternative outcomes. Let's look over this code real quick to make sure we understand. The code first asks the user to create a password. Once created, it takes the string, or variable, and checks if the character length is more than 8. If yes, it will prompt this. If not, it will have you create another password. It's pretty straightforward, huh? Let's run this code and see what the user experience is like.
I understand.
Fantastic! Let's look at C++ now, Mr. Smarty Pants. As you can see, I kept everything in the main function for now. The idea is exactly the same as our Python example, but of course, syntax differently. You should be familiar with the differences between Python, C++, and JavaScript by now. So I won't be going line by line every time. With that said, here is the JavaScript version. Feel free to pause and take a longer look at any of these examples. Almost there. We'll be covering if-else-if statements, which are super easy to grasp. Plus, we'll dive into nested if statements for more advanced logic. I'll provide both Python and C++ syntax here. An if-else-if block is like a series of if statements stacked in order. The program checks each condition one by one, and as soon as it finds a match, it runs the corresponding code. If none of the conditions are met, it executes the else block. If there's no else, nothing happens. A nested if statement is when you place one if statement inside another. This means the inner if only runs if the outer if condition is true. It's like adding extra layers of checks before executing certain code. Let's compare these two advanced types of if statements to see how they work differently. With if-else-if branches, the program checks each condition in order. If the first condition is true, it runs that code. If the next condition is true, it runs that instead. If none of the conditions match, it moves to the final else, if there is one. With nested if-else statements, one if statement is placed inside another. The first condition must be true before checking the second one. This creates layers of decision making, where the inner if depends on the outer one. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for conditional statements.
Why did you bring a laptop if you printed the presentation?
I wanted to show off my amazing psychokinetic retrieval powers. You know how it is.